Now, privacy officer, yes. Donald K. Hawkins, chief privacy officer, yes. These privacy officers, yeah. Why don't you find out who they are in the United States federal government? Yes. See, my concern is there are persons that have police-like capabilities. Yes, yes. Now, U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services oversees lawful immigration to the United States and is possible processing petitions, applications, and other requests for immigration benefits. I, as an American citizen, yeah, have emailed every field office of Homeland Security, and they all said, "Well, I'm sorry, we don't have to enforce your civil rights." Now, do you have to enforce marriage fraud laws? Now, Love and Money and Daniel Defoe's Mal Landers. I really thought about this. Yes. Um, this concept of loving money. Let's say the marriage contract is a contract of equal disposition of assets and debts. Yes. And Heidi said, "Well, I made all the financial decisions," but that's not true. Ooch. We together went to child support services as a couple and agreed that she should keep this child support services in her name because I'm the non biological father. Now, I just disproved this whole concept of making all the financial decisions myself. Oh, love and money. Exactly how much was Heidi paid? To abduct my sons. I mean, I've heard, yes, that there's a possibility, right, that she might have experienced some discomfort when she gave up some of her ovas. See, in the last few days, I've been looking at this literature about the follicles in the ovaries and how I wanted to use a gas balloon to blow some of the FSH or something similar to it on Marilyn's ovaries. Yes, so she would not be menopausal. But when we went to the ultrasound for Benjamin in Spokane, Washington, yes, she got out of there and she said, I had terrible cramping and we had to pull over so that. So, did anybody use an ultrasound machine to stick a large needle through her cervix into her ovaries and harvested a large number of eggs that could be used to make Heidi lookalikes? Could you get me the actual location where we went for the ultrasound while on welfare? Yes. I just wanted to know because it took an extraordinary amount of time. Yes, it did. And when I think that there could be cramping during this whole taking of the ovas, yes, yes. See, they use an ultrasound machine to see the ovaries, and while approximately 4 months pregnant, did Heidi decide to harvest a large number of her eggs without telling me as a husband? Shh. Now I know. You're sitting there asking yourself, well, how does he know this? It should not cause cramping when you experience an ultrasound. I had been to numerous ultrasounds. Yes. During the course of the birth of 5 other sons. Right. But that cramping did not make any sense to me. Yes. Let me see here. It should be here. Oops. Oop. Did Heidi, as my spouse, decide while I was watching? Yes. Zachary, Bishop, Deacon, Jessica, and Maximilian, while doing an ultrasound for. Now, I would think as a spouse, before she goes harvesting her eggs, yes, she should have talked to me about what she was doing to her ovaries. Now, there could be a lawsuit in this. When you don't talk to your spouse about what you do with your ovaries, I think, yes, that there was a small. Now, I know I got it in here someplace. Just a second. Oops. Let's see, I have 151 documents in here. Yes. Hmm. Now, maybe I need to search for, let me see, sort by modification time. Ooh. Now, it should be here, 130. Maybe I deleted it. Yes. For Kamutsu. Oh, look at that. The official position. Marriage fraud book collection and legal maxims. It's not here. Well, I know it's in the drive. Yes. It explains how you. Maybe we should ask my wife if she harvested some eggs when going to an ultrasound in Spokane, Washington, yeah, in 2009 without talking to me as a husband. Well, it would have been one thing to use her ovas. Then there's the use of sperm. Did somebody want to call her and ask her? Yes. Did you decide to put on ice some of your. Well, that's the only ultrasound that I know of where you experience that cramping right now. I would say it's a fraudulent marriage, yes. To not inform your spouse about what you decide to do, yes. With your sexual nerve endings, yes. Your ovaries. And then it would be a fraudulent marriage to use your spouse's. Mm. Now, just a second. I know I have it in here someplace. I put some recordings in here. Oh, this. Oh, age and fertility. I think it's this one or it's fertility rights fact sheet. No, age and fertility is really good. Explains the biological clock. Yes. Hang on just a second. Why don't you tell me where all the eggs are of my wife? Yes. And exactly what you did with them. Am I ovulating? Art booklet. Now, this is a really good booklet, and if you didn't get a copy of it, you should get a copy of it. It's kind of a big one. Yes. Has multiple pages in it. But this assisted reproductive technology, a guide for patients, yes, it goes in. Oh, darn it, I didn't want to do that. Yes. It goes into exactly what you could experience, yes, when harvesting your eggs without informing your husband. This booklet will help you understand in vitro fertilization, unassisted reproduction. Now, let's say that my wife did actually harvest some of her eggs because, see this right here? This is a really good diagram. This is the vagina. Yeah. This is the cervix. Yeah. Now, infertile fertilization. Now, this, oh, look at it during ovarian stimulation, fertility drugs. Does anybody know where, oh, look at medication for ovarian stimulation? Does anybody know where my wife's eggs are that she did have harvested? Yes. While we were at an ultrasound, while we were in Spokane, before we moved to Guam, where she didn't tell me egg retrieval is usually accomplished by transvaginal ultrasound aspiration. Inserted into the vagina an ultrasound probe. They didn't put a probe in your vagina when you were looking at Benjamin while he was gestating, did they? Now this is something. See this ultrasound probe? Yes. This is a collection tube, and they put it in there so they can see your ovaries, and then they take a whole bunch of those follicles out, and they say it causes cramping.